now. We'll go straight into the stories making the rounds on the national dailies for today. I'll start with the Tribune paper right now. On the Nigerian Tribune, the banner story says states get federal government 656 billion naira support. And we have riders to this story. The first reads, each state to receive 18.225 billion naira in 6 tranches. Latest loan to be repaid with a 30-year tenor, 2-year moratorium at interest rate of 9%. That story you'll find on the 4th page, on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Away from that, we have a story that reads, railway workers begin strike, cripple operations nationwide. Now that's a sad one. They gave the warning and now they have started a strike. It's our hope that the federal government, of course, listens to them. They reach a truce and then they'll be back to work. All right, and moving away from that one, bandits in Katsina use walkie-talkies, killed 213 in 5 months. That's according to government. Now, that's a very sad story. In 5 months, 213 people were killed by bandits in Katsina State, and now they use walkie-talkie. Moving away from that, armed thugs attack Osho APC factional meeting. Well, that story is on the 25th page of the Nigerian Tribune for today. And moving away from that story, Gbajabiamila meets Buhari, says president supports direct primaries. That's on page 26 of the Nigerian Tribune. Set up independent inquiry on Justice Odli's home invasion. Falana tells Buhari. That's also on the page 26. Okay, Taraba enlists service of agro rangers to safeguard farms. That's on page 4. And away from that, federal government to address ASU's basic demands next week. Page 26. We look forward to that, so that we won't have strikes here and there. Okay, Nigeria's economy grew by 4.03% in third quarter 2021, and that report is from NBS. And moving away from that, Lagos needs $15 billion in 5 years for infrastructure. That's coming from the governor of Lagos State, Sanwo-Olu, saying that the state needs $15 billion in 5 years for infrastructure. Away from that, Buhari to Blinken, federal government awaits NSAS panel report from states. And we have about 3 riders to this story. I'll read you the riders. The first one says, U.S. Secretary of State insists on accountability addressing victims' grievances. Now, that's a good one. And moving away from that rider, another rider says, Lagos Council on panel picks holes in report, says it won't stand judicial scrutiny. I'll take that rider again. Lagos Council on panel picks holes in report, says it won't stand judicial scrutiny. And the last rider for that story says, do not provoke aggravated reaction. Adegboruwa cautions him. Okay. Moving away from the Nigerian Tribune, moving on to this day paper for today. I'll start with the banner story on this day paper, and this reads, Buhari saying, we won't preempt states over decisions on NSAS. That story you almost find on all the papers this morning. And the riders, U.S. seeks proper accountability of findings. Another rider, government's lawyer disputes panel's leaked report, doubts casualty figures. So you see that, and I guess that's why Adib Gurua was also responding to him and all. Well, it remains to be seen what happens eventually, and then most likely we'll have the white paper. Away from that particular rider, another rider here says, identifies 40 discrepancies in document. 800 million naira spent on panel's 13 months seating. So 14 discrepancies. Like I said, we wait. All right, and moving away from that story, we have another one here that reads, states to get 18.2 billion naira each in fresh budget support facility. There are 2 riders to this story. The first reads, CBN processing 656 billion naira bridge financing to spread over 6 months. Yeah, that's a good one. And we have federal government targets 50% COVID-19 vaccination, urges strict compliance to protocols ahead of your tide. The question is, have you gotten your job? All right, so moving away from that, we have this other story that we saw from the Nigerian Tribune. It reads, Buhari backs direct primary, says Gbajabiamila. And now to Business Day. The banner story here reads, real estate emerges world's most popular store of wealth. Real estate emerges world's most popular store of wealth. Now that's beautiful. And moving away from that, we have days after COP26 deal, oil producers angle to pump more. Angle to pump more. All right, that's also on the Business Day for today. And very quickly moving on to the Punch paper, we have the banner story, fuel marketers predict 170 naira per litre Claim supply drop, NNPC disagrees. So there you have it. We took the story during the news update, and we saw that NNPC disagreed with that assertion. But then it reads, fuel marketers predict 170 naira per litre. And they're saying there's supply drop, but NNPC says, no way, we have enough stock to last us during the Yuletide. And another story, which is the last one on the Punch paper, reads, AMCON empowered to sell debtor firms, and we have VIP's assets as Buhari signs bill. I'll take that again. AMCON, yeah, okay, empowered, beg your pardon, to sell debtor firms, that's debtor companies, VIP's assets as Buhari signs bill. That's on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. You may want to get a copy of that paper to have a read. And then on page 12 of the Punch paper, ASU withdraws strike threat, but Biamila orders intervene. That's on page 12, as I said earlier. And on page 5 of the Punch paper, Prophet rapes 8-month pregnant lady during private deliverance session. Prophet rapes 8-month pregnant lady during private deliverance.